Mercury, the messenger of the gods, the guy who's got all the news that is or isn't fit to print, is moving into the sign of Gemini with a first in our lifetime flow to Pluto, as he also conjuncts Jupiter. And his journey from June the 4th through to the 16th is full of fresh energy that we haven't seen in our world. And you certainly haven't seen in your life unless you were alive back in the late 1800s. It is this trine to Pluto that I'm really excited about as he conjuncts Jupiter around the 4th of June and 5th of June when he first ingresses into the sign of Gemini, that we're going to talk about for your sign today. But also he does a lot of other amazing things while he's moving through the sign of Gemini, including a beautiful flow to the nodes of fate that could bring some peace in this world in times of war, and a conjunction to the sun called a Cazimi on June the 14th, if I remember correctly, as well as a square to Neptune for a little misinformation and disinformation around the 16th of June. So we're going to cover all of those details right now for you as we go through the movement of Mercury through the sign of Gemini. Now, as we go through the story today, I want you to listen for your sun, if it's about father and father figures, career and purpose. Listen to your moon sign if it's about your body and your home and your mother and mother figures. You want to hear about those things. And your rising sign is all about you. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac and the whole sign house system. If you want to cast your chart in whole sign houses and find your ascendant, go to below in my description box under the More button, where you can find out how to do that in my free video tutorial that teaches you how to do the house system called whole sign houses, which is the ancient tradition, and also teaches you how to cast your chart in whole sign houses. Let's roll and let's talk about what's happening in this journey ahead. And if you're listening to this video in the month of May, it's not over yet, I have a giveaway. Join my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter, win one of 12 prizes each week, including free readings. In order to get into the contest at all, you have to be a subscriber. So sign up in the description box below for Cosmic Moonshine, a weekly forecast newsletter that I write for my subscribers. All right, guys, let's talk about this. I'm recording this quite early, May the 10th, for my Patreon community, early access, ad-free. And so I might not be up in current events because I have to have this ready for because I'm traveling and I won't be able to record anything. So my mundane astrology will be out of date. So I won't spend as much time talking about war and politics, but I will bring a little bit into it. As many of you know who are keen to learn astrology, Donald Trump has his sun in the sign of Gemini, and this will certainly have an immediate impact on him and what's going on in his world as a result of this. And the United States of America, in their sibling natal chart, has Gemini as the house of open enemies. The United States considers China, Russia, and Iran, I think, open enemies. And so those stories of US and those places, as well as probably stories to do with Trump, will be big during this transit of June 3rd to the 16th of Mercury in the sign of Gemini. So let's get the story rolling. Let me give you a thought, and then we're going to show the sky and do all signs. And please like and subscribe because it helps the channel grow. Welcome back to my regulars. Okay, the thought I want to share with you here is the rarity to start off with this. You know, Mercury has been traveling around the zodiac and going through, a pretty fast pace, as he always does. And he's in the sign of Gemini, which he does all the time every year. But what he's doing that's really cool and quite different is he's looking over at Pluto in Aquarius. And Pluto has not been in Aquarius since the late 1800s. And this is the first time in 21 times that Mercury will meet in a loving gaze, trine, lucky flow energy towards Pluto in Aquarius between now and 2042. So it's a fresh energy. It's something we haven't felt. And in his very first conversation with Pluto in Aquarius, he's holding hands with Lord Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. Jupiter is in debility in Gemini, but still Jupiter is in the sign of the twins or the brothers or the neighbors. And in a time of war in which neighbors and brothers, Ukraine and Russia and Palestine and Israel, are in fighting conflict mode, having not only Venus, the goddess of peace, moving into the heart of the sun on June the 4th in Gemini, while at the very same time, Jupiter, the greater benefic of wisdom, truth, and justice, divine justice especially, holds hands with Mercury, the messenger and the contract maker and negotiator, and they flow to Pluto, power and wealth, but conflict, transformation, death, and rebirth in the sign of Aquarius. Right now in Aquarius, the asteroid America is traveling with Pluto, as well as the fixed star Altair, upon which Pluto sits. Eye of the Eagle in the constellation of Aquila the Eagle, a star of military victory, war, and strategy, and winning and losing, themes of war. Therefore, I do believe that situations that are connected to both China, whose ascendant is in Aquarius, over the next 21 years, every time Mercury and Pluto connect, will be very involved in these stories, a lot of China stories over the next 20 years. But also in the short term, Asteroid America is on Pluto, and there is a story coming through with war and America and neighbors and brothers fighting. Those are neighbors and brothers of the world, right? Like not your real brothers, but your neighbors like Ukraine and Russia and Palestine and Israel. And so we're going to see some changes in the tone and the narrative about these stories, because I'm recording on May the 10th, and you're probably going to get this video sometime at the end of May. I won't be able to experience what is actually happening and tell you what it is about. So I'm just going to say, you can let me know, but I won't know what it is myself. So because it's too far ahead of the curve. But I would say that it looks like once Venus is visible in late June, early July, probably early July, she gets far enough from the beams of the sun, astronomers expect her to be visible in the evening sky in early July, that we can really see some sort of resolution of places of war in the world between the brothers, which would be, of course, as the countries I already mentioned in particular. Now, I'm going to show you the sky, and we're going to talk about your sign. This is a short video, but I want to tell you a little bit before we get going, and I'm really going to focus on the Jupiter-Pluto story, because I do weekly all signs videos in which I will cover things like Mercury trining the nodes of fate and squaring Saturn in Pisces at the same time around June 9th to 12th, or on June the 4th, the Cazimi. Come to my free Cazimi webinar, link below, where we have Mercury in the heart of the sun on June the 14th at 23 Gemini. Well, he sextiles the wounded healer Chiron and Aries. Come to that, please, and see if you don't learn something about asteroid stars and how to harness this magical, powerful moment. And then, of course, down at the end of the pipeline, when he's getting ready to leave on June 15th, 16th, he begins to form a square to Neptune. That's classic manipulation, disinformation, confusion about knowledge, information, and news stories. So rather than cover all of those in one video, those will be coming out in my week ahead weeklies every Monday. And for today's video, you're probably getting this probably the third week of May. I want you to be excited about what's happening here on that June 3rd, 4th, 5th energy, in which we see Mercury hitched up to Jupiter, but also trining Pluto. In Renn Butler's Archetypal universe, he has a section called the combinations, because when you have Mercury and Pluto in a flow, it's deep penetrating insight, X-ray vision, a mind that can go deep, ideas that penetrate the depths. It is a man with the X-ray vision, and it's really good for writing and dark comedy that's successful. But when you add the Jupiter element, he's got a section, Mercury, Pluto combined with Jupiter. And here's what he says, because Jupiter's conjunct Mercury as they flow to Pluto for the first in a lifetime. I'm going to call it a first in a lifetime Mercury through Gemini, Pluto powered Mercury through Gemini. Here's what he writes in his amazing book, The Archetypal Universe. I'll be having Renn, I hope, on my channel again soon, but I want to promote his course soon. It's coming up in the fall. It's an amazing course. Okay, so a deep and broad-ranging mind. This is because of Jupiter, right? A persuasive and commanding intellect, a positive outlook that has integrated the importance of facing the human shadow and the right use of knowledge. Jupiter, right use of knowledge, good faith, goodwill, wisdom and knowledge, Jupiter. And it could be a darker side, but this is a flow of compulsion, self-righteous opinions, intellectual power trips, obsession with greatness. Now, obsession with greatness is always going to show up when you see something to do with a Jupiter-Pluto energy. That's the dark side, right? Can't help it. But this is a trine, so it can bring the positive side to the storyline. Let me show you the chart, and we're going to whip through this video. It will be less than an hour. That's because there's not much to say, other than I want to focus on one particular element, which it just happened to be cued to the Cancer rising. It's not here nor there, or there nor here, or hither nor thither, but let's talk about what happens here in the sky. I want to mention that Mercury here at 0 degrees of Gemini on June the 3rd and some change is moving very quickly. He spent a lot of time retrograde in the sign of Aries for 2 months in his elemental fire year, heating up the Aries patch. And later in the summer, August, he'll be a couple months into September in Leo, and in the fall, November, in hanging out for a couple months in Sag. But he's moving fast because he was moving slow. Now it's like a spring-loaded motion from our perspective on Earth. So he's moving really quickly through this sign of Gemini. And it's amazing how fast he's going when you start to see the sky. So I want you to watch this. I'm going to pin this. No, I won't let me pin the sky. I'll pin the sky just to show you the dynamic, right, before we do all signs. We're going to pin the sky to 0 Aries. This software only lets me pin to 0 Aries. So that's what I'm going to do so that we don't get a lot of ascendant motion. So here we have the sky, and I'm going to watch the idea of how fast Mercury moves through the sky right here, okay? So keep your eye on the ball. He's not going to really, okay, well, I'm not going to say what he's going to do. He's not really going to have any meaningful conversations with Mars. On June the 9th, Mars is moving into Taurus and will be in aversion to Gemini, the sign of Gemini and Mercury's transit. So he's not talking to Mars during this transit. I want you to be aware of that because Mercury-Mars is going to be, war stories or bad war stories or difficult information about war. That's not going to happen because of this aversion between Mars and Mercury from June 3rd to the 16th. But he is talking with other planets, right? That's what we're going to go with. Everybody else gets some conversations with him except for Mercury, which I find very interesting in its own right, right? And he does also, okay, let's whip through. He's co-present with Venus. He does not talk to Venus in a conjunction other than a co-presence in the same sign. So let's watch Mercury down here, moving quickly through here. The lines show the formation of angles. As you see, the first thing he does is trine Pluto. Trust me, Asteroid America is here, as well as the star Altair beside Pluto. So he's going to come into this trine to Pluto, and he's going to bump into Jupiter. See Jupiter down here, guys, right? Well, I can circle that for you. Why not? Why not annotate it? No, once I annotate it, it doesn't let me move things forward. Or does it? We'll try. That's the part of the sky to pay attention to. The first thing we notice is the Pluto trine, and that's a flow energy right here that's very auspicious. Let's see if I can get rid of that for a minute and do this. There we go. Maybe I can, yeah. Okay, so keeping your eye on the ball, right? Mercury is moving really quickly. Next thing we notice, we're already sitting on June the 6th, and now we're in June the 7th, and now we're on June the 8th, and June the 9th. And as we get to June the 9th, he begins to form a trine to the nodes of fate and a sextile. That's called a wedge, and that's very auspicious. It's a tension between the dynamic energy of the nodes of fate. This is Israel's ascendant, and they're enemies of Israel. And this is Mercury, the negotiator, the treaty maker, the deal maker, the mediator. In the sign of Gemini, warring brothers, anyone? Neighbors? And creating some breakthrough energy. And I really like this around June the 9th through to June the 12th, because he's moving fast, but he is talking in proximity to Venus, who's going to be about peace into places of division. Jekyll, Hyde, the immortal twins, Castor and Pollux, the myth of Gemini, which is a sign connected to the human form of the twins. It's human problems she's trying to bring peace to. Okay. And Jupiter is sitting here, of course, the greater benefic. Well, he'll be there till next July. All right. June the 9th, actually, of next year. So keep your eye on this wedge that'll be forming. I'll be doing a separate week ahead video for that June 9th week so we can talk in depth about how that impacts you and your sign. And as we keep moving forward, we see at this point a luscious little mini grand trine forming on June the 11th at the end of this time frame. And that is very auspicious, positive, lucky energy for you, involving your Leo, your Aries, and your Gemini part of your sky. Just keep that in mind. He's a part of a greater story here. And it's really connected to Chiron, the wounded healer, Mercury, Venus, Sun, triple conjunction, and the moon. Now that's special. That is so special. I want to sing a song, special, so special. And I'll be covering that in a week ahead video. And then we move this way. And then we're going to see what he does next. Now we see he's already moved on to June the 13th, and he's getting ready to come into the heart of the sun. That's that Cazimi webinar. You can sign up for free. There'll be a replay if you can't make it live. I'll probably be teaching it on the evening of the 22nd. I have to set the link up still. And as he continues to move forward, he never catches Venus. So you'll notice the god of love and the god of war are out of his communication sites in a direct, specific, perfected conjunction. It's a little bit of a almost but not quite with Venus, and he doesn't pay any attention to Mars. And by the time we get to June 17th, he's into the next sign and finally does conjunct Venus in Pisces, Venus in the 0 degrees of Cancer. I will be doing a whole video on that June 17th conjunction of Mercury, Venus in Cancer. Is obviously going to impact the Cancers a lot, but also Capricorns across the way get a big hit. So do the Aries and Libra folks from this conjunction. As we go back, though, just before he does that, look at him here at 28 degrees of the sign of Gemini, and he is squaring Neptune. Yikes. That's going to be a big kind of toxic spill of misinformation, disinformation. What you see isn't what you get in the news cycle for sure around June the 16th. A part of me worries that the almost but not quite connection here, and don't forget I'm recording on May 10th, so if this is true, I will find out later. A part of me worries that on June, in the time, sorry, let me say this in English, okay? A part of me is concerned that when we get to the middle of June, as Mercury is forming a flowing relationship to Chiron, the wounded one in the sign of war, as well as a flow to the moon in the sign of Virgo, making that mini grand trine, a part of me worries that the problem will be that we will not see a finalized ceasefire peace deal in places of war, because Mercury is trying to catch up to Venus, and Venus keeps getting ahead of him, and she indeed is the goddess of peace. And that lag of his inability to catch her is somewhat disturbing. And as we finish out around June the 16th, we get into that misinformation, disinformation spin cycle of a square to Neptune in Pisces. It feels like there's a long story going on around June the 9th to the 12th, in which peace is close at hand. And by the 16th of June, my concern is it does not quite make it through. Failure to execute Ukraine, Russia, or Israel, Gaza peace treaties and solutions. Now, let's go ahead and do your sign. You are not a warring nation. You are a person with a life. And the big picture story, I can't really comment on intelligently by doing this stuff so much further in advance. So therefore, we will be rarely, not really making any commentary that's sensible for you. I hopefully will be able to do some all signs videos while I'm traveling in Portugal, just so I can keep some of the information somewhat up to date. So let's take a look at your sign, starting with Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'm going to just take a little bit of a water break, and I'll be right back. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new to my channel. Hit that notification bell. If you're one of my regulars, you're so very welcome back. Rehydration therapy. I have a water company from Italy want me to sponsor them in my videos, and I just might, because I don't know if you guys know, I'm a fiendish water lover, and I just haven't had time to really look at the contract and figure it out. But anyway, that would be a natural sponsor for me. Water, jewelry, maybe lipstick. I have very sensitive skin. Like, too much about me, I know, TMI. And there are very few brands that don't cause me to get like eczema on my lips. And it's not even the hypoallergenic brands, just, tip, Charlotte Tilbury and Lancome work for me. All right, moving on. I like lipstick. My mother always wore it. I'm just digressing because I'm trying to distract myself from another video. I'm recording back-to-back videos today because of my travel plans. All right, guys, you can tell my outfit hasn't changed from a couple other videos. Moving forward, what day is it? It's called batch filming. Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. This is a simple, sweet, and short video. Let's just keep it simple, right? And I need to be able to advance the chart, so give me a 5-second break here while I put the whole sign house system in place. Whole sign house. I know someone's going to say something trolly. You guys always do. Well, you should organize that before you get online. And why talk about yourself? And who cares about your sister, your brothers, and your family? And la la la. I'm getting so jaded with this stuff from trolls. I don't even care anymore. I really have kind of lost my taste for the trolls. All right. Huh. So we're talking about that Mercury movement with Pluto trining first in a lifetime energies, and then we're going to talk about the rest of that stuff in my weekly video. So let's go for it. We're going to start with the Aries folk because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and it helps people coming into the live premiere where I'm chatting with you all the time to know what sign we're actually on because it's zodiacal order. If you don't know your sign symbols, fine, but it's always a sign on the left of your screen looking at the video that tells you the sign in play. And all timestamps are in the description box below, pinned to the comments, or hit the title of the video. It's called chapters, and it'll just jumpstart you to whatever section you want to know about. My timestamping sister, my employee, more or less does this for me. All right, we're rolling, just turning off my phone, and we're talking Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. First of all, Aries, what I'm going to use sun and moon. First in a lifetime transit of Mercury through the sign of Gemini, June 14th, June 3rd to the 16th. It's going to open up with a great opening act, going to actually hold hands with Pluto, let's say June 3rd, 4th. Let's make it like a nice long time. Between June the 3rd and about June the 5th, expect a breath of fresh air as the power of a retrograde Pluto, doesn't matter that it's a retrograde, activates for you some kind of deep, profound insight, understanding, recognition, perception about something you want to mend. Venus in the sign of the brothers in your third house. Now, this can be a very good place for your life. If you are a social media type like me and you have content all over social media, third house, and Pluto is wealth and power, and you may have a social media wealth pop, a social media power pop, something going on where suddenly you expand into greater influence in social circles because of things you're doing online. This also can be you benefiting from siblings younger and older, or some profound, powerful, fresh breath of air regarding things going on in the neighborhood reality of your life. Mercury likes to socialize. Venus is here. Jupiter is here. A powerful new social engagement group, whoever you're socializing with in your life, including socialization on trips. I'll be on the El Camino. Who knows what those first 2 days of the El Camino will bring, but it could be a powerful new friendship. 11th house, collaboration, alliances. Now, if you have anything you're writing and you, like me, are a writer, holy man, come on, once a year for the next 21 years, you're going to get an amazing opportunity to download the deepest insights on profound and powerful themes that could be quite transformative and publicly appealing. Pluto in the 11th house. All said and done, you'll be busy socializing as a general theme of this transit, busy talking, writing, communicating, socializing, and maybe traveling. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising, having this first in a lifetime transit of Mercury in a flow to Pluto from the sign of Gemini, and it will happen once a year for 21 years. Listen to the intro, indicates a breath of fresh air with power, wealth, and career, and earnings, money, and resources. This is the beginning of a 21-year cycle for most Tauruses, sun, moon, and rising, who can find themselves elevated in their career and wealth and experience of power. Now, your values can transform with Mercury here, and what you think is important and what you care about is changing as well. And it's also connected to how you wish to be successful in the world and have success. And with Pluto in your 10th house for the next 20 years, you're going to transform, regenerate, die, and be born again in maybe more than one career iteration. Anyone who's lived through the transit of Pluto through their 10th house can tell you stories. The last crew to go through this was the Aries risings. Okay, so they can tell you how that went, how many transformative shifts of career they've had, but empowered because of it. This time around, though, it is the Tauruses who get this with support from Lord Mercury trining from the second house of earnings. And it's an air trine. It has to do with ideas, conversations, socializations, negotiations, and contracts. And I'd like this for a new opportunity. If you're somebody who's looking for a job opportunity, looking for a place of employment, holy man, that first week of June looks golden on you, or there's a new beginning of an up level. We do not know that it's going to show up right away. We still have a Mercury Cazimi coming where he's going dark into the heart of the sun, but certainly with both Venus and Mercury becoming more visible in the aftermath, you're going to see some really lovely career stories emerging for you in maybe mid-June Well, yeah, mid-June through to early July. On a practical note, if you want to rearrange your dietary style by things you ingest and put in your mouth, that can change as well, especially self-undoing bad habits and patterns. And you may be being more empowered to let go of those matters in this transit of June the 3rd to the 16th. Okay, Gemini. Well, I have a Gemini progressed sun. If you don't ask me in the comments what progressions mean. There's different kinds, secondary, solar arc, but in general, the sun is 1 day a year from the time of your birth through the sky. So, when you're 60, it's 60 degrees away from where it was when you were born in zodiacal order. Okay. And it's just a temporary state of being. It's your natal chart is still the most fundamental. So if you have your sun progress, you can listen to that, but you also must listen to your natal sun and moon and rising. So anyway, Gemini is getting all of the energy here of a first in a lifetime trine from Pluto to Mercury or Mercury to Pluto. And this energy in the sign of Gemini is fresh and new, and we haven't experienced it before. And so it's going to have a different flavor, and you get it for 20 more years every year. Now, Mercury in your first house is going to be about ideas that you have, thoughts that you have. He's in the house of his joy. And powerful new thoughts and ideas are coming to you. Your mental acuity is potent and powerful, and Pluto in the 9th house of God is giving you some deep spiritual insights, but maybe some powerful insights into your true north, your meaning of your life, and the direction you wish it to take. If it's your sun, your career to take, your moon, your home and home life to take, and your rising sign, everything about you. So this is a really new expression of power. Now, some of you, Pluto, academic settings. Maybe you're going to power up and go back to school in the next few years. Maybe this is about world travel and you want to do much more of it. And you've great ideas and perceptions and insights about the possibility for a lot more global travel, international influence, book publishing, third marriages, spiritual philosophy are all on the uplift for you over the next couple of decades as Mercury continually talks to Pluto once a year like this. Jupiter here brings the bounty, the expansion, and the luck, and blesses it with an executive capacity. Your ideas can make you wealthy, but they must be meaningful, soulful, on purpose, and maybe reach a global audience. Now, if that sounds too much, then it can be a real profound insight that you want to go back to school. Jupiter rules education. Pluto's in the house of higher education. I want to go back to school. I'm a progressed Gemini sun. I want to go to film school, and I will. So there's a lot to say about this, but those are the general ideas of it. Good luck with this. Follow me, like, and subscribe, by the way, and do that now. Subscribe, like, because you might want to catch the Monday videos, which I cover the other stories of Mercury and Gemini this next few weeks. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. Mercury moving through the sign of Gemini is in your 12th house. It's subtle. It's offline a bit. It's your unconscious, subconscious dreams at night. It's backroom stuff. It's maybe solitude and aloneness. It's your bed pleasures, etc. But the fresh new energy is the early on in his June the 4th to the 16th transit. He touches base in the first few days of June with a trine to Pluto. June the 3rd, let's go June the 3rd to the 6th, for example. We have a lovely flow between Mercury and Pluto while he's holding hands with Jupiter. And Venus is going in the heart of the sun. That's a whole other video. And as Mercury is touching base with Pluto, it's a deep level of insight, understanding, and revelation of things that were hidden from view, especially secrets or deep occult mysteries. This is moksha on moksha. This is spiritual liberation on spiritual liberation, 8 and 12. This is a deep dive of soul work for you. And it's going to keep going on for the next 20 years. But if you want to leverage money from foreign shores and lands and be quite bounteous and figure out your tax structures, your loans and your mortgages, or your inheritance monies, or you want to square away finances here, this can be very positive for you as well and bring you prosperity. I mean, Jupiter in the 12th house can also be about that money and bounty you're getting from foreign shores and lands, maybe borderless income, international revenue, that kind of thing. And money you share with a spouse or significant other is here. And there's some new level of powering up around that. But I also would suggest if you have any kind of psychological, emotional, and spiritual karmic baggage, self-undoing, addictions, a lot of cancers are kind of going to blast through it like, boom, like a cartoon character of power to eliminate those problems, especially with Venus in the house of undoing, from pleasurable addictive substances, habits, and patterns. Ending your self-sabotage is basically where I'm going. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign, we have this Pluto energy activating a first in a lifetime transit of Mercury through your 11th house. This is a very sociable house. It'll be here June the 3rd to the 16th. And that's where your activity and your social life can get a glow up, especially with Venus here, especially with Jupiter and the sun. You're going to be very active socially between June the 4th and about June the 16th. Now, that aside, you could also have a lot of conversations, emails, and phone calls going back and forth with friends or an elder sibling. And you might benefit or prosper from an elder sibling because Pluto is wealth and Jupiter is an opportunity, and it's an elder sibling could benefit you financially, or a friend, ally, and benefactor could also help you financially. This flows to you as a Leo energy. Now, the Mercury transit up here is really, really good in a general way, that flow to Pluto for your relationship with your significant other, spouse, long-term relationship partner. And that could also include more social time with that partner, with the groups of belonging. But watch out, Pluto here in your marriage house as a Leo rising, especially over the next 20 years, is going to take that relationship and transform it. But if it won't transform, it will not last. So you have to keep in mind, there's a huge titanic evolutionary force compulsing itself through your marriage house until 2044. Anyway, every year, Mercury and in your 11th house will flow to Pluto here. Sometimes windfalls come through the 11th. Jupiter's up there. You might have a windfall, a little trickle of money from pennies from heaven coming through June the 3rd through to the 5th or so. Let me know what happens. Virgo, you're ruled by Mercury, so you must pay attention. He's your planet. Virgo, he's moving through the sign of Gemini in a first in a lifetime flow to Pluto in your 6th house of work. If you want to get a dream job or powerful job, a job that brings wealth, or a job that really invites your depth to the table, this is amazing. This is going to open up for unemployed Virgos and a new level of success in career and work. Whether you're getting a job or your existing work is powering up to a new level of authentic expression and depth and power, where the world sees you as magnanimous, leaderful, likable, solar leader figure, right? This is happening for all of you Virgos right now. And it's a real extension of success into your career. And Mercury wants to comply and assist that process. But he's pulling energy from Pluto. So there's like that theme of things that are going on in the daily work, employee structures that matter. Possibly because he's holding hands with Jupiter, who rules your 4th house, there's a chance to, in your case, rent a property out or become a tenant of a property and have a very powerful positive impact there. And also maybe something to do with a sale of a property just because of the situation in your 8th house right now with the North Node. So a sale of a property can go very well as well, but mostly it's about a career, a glow up, expansion, and growth. Possibly an ability to have some money come to you through an inheritance as well, or beware that of inheritance money could come to you between June the 3rd and the 16th. It's an ideal time for the unemployed to apply for jobs between June 3rd and 16th. No two ways about it, with an exceptional glow up in the first few days between June 3rd and 6th. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. Wowzer. Here we go. In this quickie video, you're going to experience this movement of Mercury through the sign of Gemini. And don't forget to sign up for my webinar, my free webinar. And as he goes through this part of the chart, the first thing he does is hold hands with Jupiter, June 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and flow to Pluto. First in a lifetime, flow between your 9th house of higher education, foreign short travel, legal matters, father figures, book publishing, publications, third marriages. I think I covered it. And it's flowing back down to Jupiter, Pluto in the 5th house of good fortune. Now, good fortune can happen in many ways. You could get pregnant, have some creativity, build an entrepreneurial business, have some good things happen with or for one of your children, your romantic life. So it could be a profound new romance appearing from foreign travel or foreign people in foreign places, a blessed, fortunate legal outcome in a legal matter, etc. But what I want you to get from this vibe, it's really active in the beginning, June 3rd to 6th, is it's fresh and it's new and it's penetrating insight and it's depth. And I mean, in general, Mercury, when he's talking to Pluto, wants to have a deeper insight into something. But Jupiter says lucky and opportune. If you want to go off to your school of your dreams and you've applied, you could get a powerful acceptance. It feels very lucky. If you're looking for new romance, it could come through educational settings and travel settings and be successful. And ultimately, with Mercury up here, there may be opportunities to speak on podcasts or opportunities to be in the public eye on publication, write for a publication, speak on a podcast. For some of you, Libras, percolating in the first few days of June. Whether you do the opportunity or schedule it, it doesn't matter. Similar for travel opportunities. I have a Libra friend doing a pilgrimage during this time to El Camino. She's going to be with me, and that's going to be the house of pilgrimages. And look how many good things are happening for you, Libras, in the house of pilgrimages, like the El Camino. Legal matters, so can go very, very well. And just money luck. This is a Lakshmi house, and luck in general are on your side. If you are a Libra and you're looking for some employment, this could be the runway to a new job. You might be waiting for the Venus transit in and the Mercury transit into the sign of Cancer around the 17th, 18th for the actual job to come. But this could be a really good headhunter job searching window of time with great success coming around the 17th, 18th of the month with both Mercury and Venus moving into the sign of your 10th house of career and reputation. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign, you are having this energy of Venus moving through your 8th house of chunky money. This is an inheritance house. Jupiter's here for a whole year. Yes, some of you Scorpios will inherit money in the next 12 months. That aside, this is a first in a lifetime Mercury flow to Pluto, legacy wealth, Mercury commercial transactions and agreements. Look, some of you could buy a property, sell a property, get a bank loan mortgage of a dream nature during this transit, June 3rd to the 16th, but also news of inheritance from father figures are possible for some Scorpio rising especially. This energy is also about secrets and Mercury talks, gossips, especially in Gemini. It's a very chatter sign of communication. And a good secret can be revealed about your childhood or family of origin that you will benefit by knowing the truth about something. Jupiter, wisdom and truth. That new knowing would be made available to you early on, June 3rd to the 6th, but maybe through the entirety of the transit, June 3rd to the 16th. All right, so keep me posted, Scorpios. What happens? Let me know. All right, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. What happens when a first in a lifetime flow of Mercury moving through Gemini to Pluto and Aquarius occurs for you in your life? This is about your significant marriage and love stories, especially committed long-term partnerships in business, but mostly in love. It's also the marketplace and the general audience to which you output your career matters of the 10th house. This is going to be a very busy time. You may be doing a lot of communication with audience marketplace clients during June the 3rd to 16th, as you are every year when this happens. But now, also communicating with your spouse or your significant other, lots of conversations going on. Now, with this energy of Mercury in a flow to Pluto, that partner may be traveling and there's a lot of distance between you, thus a lot of phone calls and emails at a distance. Or you may be powering up regarding travel opportunities with a significant other during the June 3rd to the 16th window of time. If it's not about that, sibling stories, including sibling stories to do with wealth, are impacting legal matters, but in a positive way in the course of June 3rd to the 16th. And skills-based learning opportunities, Jupiter is education, emerge where you can get into your favorite skills-based educational course, or if you're a teacher, teach something, lecture, or do a online lecture or something during this June 3rd to the 16th, and really reach that audience, because Jupiter, Uranus here, Jupiter, Mercury here suggests success in reaching an audience or marketplace in something you want to do. Legal deals, negotiations, and contracts are going to be beneficial, involving land, property, and real estate or travel matters, June the 3rd to the 16th. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. What we have going on in the sky is a movement of Mercury through your sixth house. This is your work house, your colleagues, employees, employment structures. This is pets and rentals and tenancies, debt elimination and debt accumulation. And lawsuits can happen here. All kinds of things happen in the sixth house of slavery, servitude, and also service. So what I would say to you is that you're going to find that for the first time in your life, Mercury is going to participate in a financial glow up with Pluto in your money and resources house, in your savings and your all the resources you need to survive and thrive. And this is a work energy. So an increase in wages, a raise or a promotion, a deep, powerful insight into a new opportunity that you can harness, and to increase your financial well-being in the work you do in this world. Some of you even from home with the North Node in the fourth house, or perhaps even an opportunity. Mercury is phone calls, texts, and emails. Venus lucky, Jupiter expansive and bounteous, a lucky opportunity for a job situation to emerge June 3rd to the 16th. Many which ways it can play out with Jupiter holding hands with Mercury. Could be people from foreign shores and foreign lands or international companies involved in this, or backroom deals and negotiations behind the scenes that lead to new upticks in your financial well-being through the idea of work and service. Pets can come into your life under this transit, and with Jupiter, a very lucky and very bountiful and joyful pet story can emerge here. And possibly because of the Pluto flow, it's an expensive pet, but you got all the money to buy that super expensive, well-bred dog or cat. And if you want to date, Venus is here. This could be a dating house that precedes commitment. Pluto, though, woohoo, Pluto is flowing to the whole thing. So if you are dating somebody, there's a lot of intensity with Pluto. If you start dating someone, you're going to build in a lot of Pluto Venus energy here, but it could be a time of high social engagement in the world of dating for many of you Capricorns, June 3rd to the 16th. And finally, if you have to negotiate rental contracts and stuff like that, this is a time in which you're going to power up to benefit from financial gains through rentals and rental properties, or finding a very powerful new rental property as a tenant that is really good on you in terms of your finances. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Wow. Well, here we are. We are Pluto powered. We're running on Pluto fumes, and our turbo engine is plutonium. So we are looking at this energy as an Aquarius, and we see the first time in our lives, Mercury is now moving through on June 3rd to the 16th, our house of romantic love, children, pregnancy, and fertility. Also creativity, art projects, the muse, and entrepreneurial endeavors, and flowing and romantic love, if I had say it, and flowing back to Pluto. So the power of love, but through Mercury's lens, communication. There's some profound, in-depth, deep dive conversations with your children, with your lover. Okay, your mind is activated for deep conversations, for creativity with the muse to pull something profound, and maybe Black comedic comedy can be your new thing. Over the course, especially for writing, over the course of the next 20 years, because this conjunction keeps happening, flowing Pluto, look to June the 3rd through to the 5th or 6th for some evidence of some prosperity here. You are trying to be more wealthy. Pluto is a god of wealth, and also a depth and profound power. And all of a sudden, there's this like lucky spark striking in your 5th house of lottery wins, casino wins, gaming wins, speculation, and money luck and good fortune. So for some of you Aquarians, wowzer, June the 3rd to 16th with Mercury here, buy the ticket, especially Mercury's commercial transactions. You got to buy a ticket at a store. So some of you are going to win some money between June the 13th to 16th, or buy the ticket that wins you the money. Because here's a tip, guys. I want you to really listen in. The gains of a house are the house after it. So if I was to sell my property, the 4th house, I gain the money in the 5th house. If I win a lottery ticket in the 5th house, I gain the resources, the money in my hand in the 6th house. So I'm not saying June 3rd to 16th, you will take possession of money. You might buy the lottery winning ticket. And then later on, around the 17th, 18th, 19th, add like 3 weeks, then Venus and Mercury move through your 6th house, and then you get the money, which allows you to pay off your debt. right? So a lot of this is going to be not always what happens between June and 3rd and 16th. If it's financial gain, it can happen after Mercury leaves the place where you incited the luck. Okay. And this is good for your children. Unexpected pregnancy, though, with this combination, you may get some profound news that one of your children is pregnant, and that could lead to you being a grandparent because Venus is here and she rules the house of grandchildren. Or you, as an egg bearer woman, may get pregnant during this transit, or as a non-egg bearing man, find out that your partner is pregnant, okay, during this transit if you're Aquarian. Ah, all right, finally, Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. Basically, this is a time where you are going to go through some transformational experiences June 3rd to the 16th regarding your home, your nest, where you live, your property. Categorically, it's all those things. Now, yeah, Mercury comes through here every year, and you just might have been more sociable in your home. You might have bought some items for your home because you like to like commercial activity. You might have been communicating in and from your home, but this is different. Pluto is here, flowing from the 12th house of backroom deals and negotiations, for revenue from far off foreign shores and lands, people from far off foreign shores and lands, flowing to your 4th house. So for most Pisces, the themes of home, home, and homeland, and maybe money from an inheritance can be highly activated between June 3rd and the 16th, but look especially to June 3rd to the 6th when you have a lot of Mercury holding hands with lucky Jupiter, flowing over to wealthy Pluto, and there's a dispensation of karmic wealth coming your way, the treasure chest of past life money, landing on your home doorstep, and you got the goods. How does this money or luck or prosperity show up in the home and homeland story? I don't know. Parents belong to the 4th house, especially the mama, maybe money from mama coming through. Or things in the 4th house can also involve things that you're doing in and from your home that bring you luck and prosperity. With Mercury here, you could be very sociable close to home. June the 3rd to the 16th as well. But because we have Venus here resetting herself as well in a star point and so much more going on, this is one of the most powerful and positive years of your life when it comes to home, property, land, and real estate. I have a Pisces rising sister who's got her property on the market and wants to move into a new home with her husband. This is exactly the kind of goodness of June 3rd to the 16th that can suggest success. Venus rules the house of mortgages with the South Node there. Property sale and mortgages may be a little less money than you wanted, but it can say that things will go well June 3rd to the 16th. Looking forward to seeing what happens for you guys in land, property, home, and real estate, or bounteous, joyful prosperity in and from your home June 3rd to the 16th with an edge of karmic power and Plutonian wealth to boot. Thank you for listening, all of you. I'm going to go sit in the sun before I batch another couple of videos out on May the 10th, 2024, so I can travel to El Camino and not be trying to figure out for 3 weeks in Portugal how the hell I'm going to produce content and upload them on the road. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, like and subscribe. If you're into a Patreon community for early access ad-free content, please consider joining. For $5 a month. You get 2 free gifts from me for coming aboard. Chiron, the Key to Purpose class that I taught. It's a replay. And you get my Synastry class, Are You My Person? Those are $22 each to purchase, so $44 gift to you for just trying out my Patreon community for a mere $5 a month. And you get all the YouTube content without the ads and before the public. Okay, see you guys soon. Ciao, ciao. Have a wonderful journey of first in a lifetime, Mercury trine Pluto with Jupiter.